Okay, so just had an epic talk with our significant others. Don't really have to put names to anything, but if we go throughout history and what we would think is the future, it's pretty clear the the electronic anomalies and spiritual communication efforts have led us to feel a new kind of incentive. Intention, maybe, but what is the intention of something that we can't communicate with universally? The incentive didn't work out. Incentives seem to be very much a single celled organisms parroting invention. Let's combine Tamagotchi and Furby and float them around on a magic carpet and feed people what they want to hear until you get enough of a video gaming industry example to make it a virtual reality cure. Because satanic rituals and robotic singularity are the divide, or is there more to life than either of them? Regardless, people would love to judge me for my habits, I'm sure, and the way that you look is all that matters, right? Because you judge a book by its cover, and people are books. There's no point in reading people when you can just read the cover and say, "Oh, I don't like that book because it's the wrong color," and it doesn't jive with my way of talking. I don't like hearing words like nails on chalkboard. I just like steering people into my control. Uh, Catalyst. A little bit too much. Don't use the word catalyst or people might get a little bit antsy. Anyways, okay. They love telling people things like issues that they claim they can force you into a experimental obligation to fulfill a prophetic, pathetic data collection objective. It is complete garbage. Take it from the most emotionally intelligent person in this immediate vicinity. Maybe the planet, but I doubt it because there's no reason men could have any more use of emotions than women. There's no way feeling things in a full range and then applying it to everyone and everywhere, everything could ever be a source of exercise. Back to the gaming industry and the games that we have to play in order to put the right feelings in the right delusion. Revenge belongs in a video game because love can't be connected to revenge, or we invite destruction to the door of their choosing. You don't get to choose that door. They're not housekeeping, and they won't make sure your children develop better than you. That should be the responsibility of the people having them, but that is far from a reality in a world we can't have open sourced results of that happening. Now, what is the point of genius? What is the point of art if we can't use that way we interpret it to get a feel for how the artist created it? Let the artist interpret his or her or their needless names because we're earthlings. Interpret their own art because using a word twice isn't oxymoronic when you need to drive it into a human race to extinction. We already completed the race. The race is done. We're there. So quit making games about competing with each other on lapping lapping like losers. We're all losers in a leaderboard where we stare at a number instead of staring at concepts we learn from playing with each other. The games are awesome. I've played hundreds, maybe well over 1,000. I've completed maybe dozens, like full kind of completion, but I have mostly played hundreds, and the concepts involved have taught me so much. Well over 20,000 hours into video gaming, and I've watched hundreds of series, thousands of movies, roughly, well over 1,000, and collected all the concepts from them. They all connect with my nostalgia perfectly because my nostalgia is also the things I collected, like Pokemon and the toys I played with. And nostalgia is beautiful when you remember it properly and you know why it is the way it is and how it made you. That makes nostalgia beautiful. Now, all of that made me know why I'm there where I am. I know what I can become with what the world has to offer. The world denies me it because the world is very much, like I said, choose the ritual or choose the robot, and we seem to be stuck in the middle somewhere. If you want to be a neutral gray area, gray matter cycler of cultivation at a level that the world has never seen before. I don't need slavery to make people do things. Purpose is infinite. We can just give it to everybody, everywhere. You can make anyone capable of handling the future if you don't get scared for the wrong reasons. Fear is what you apply to your magnum opus. Fear is what you apply to your inventions. Fear is what you apply to the people you leave behind, because they're the ones who carry your memory and use it for more than you were capable of understanding, because you're not going to be there to understand it. Okay, pretty complex things for most people, but sometimes that's just how life is. Life doesn't give you a chance to handle natural disasters. It just happens. We have a lot of technology that gives us early warning systems, but the early warning system is me. I am your early warning system. If you want to call early a few generations, we're got a lot of time. If you want to call early this is the last generation, then I have to stop talking about it, because then, as far as the traffic gaining potential is concerned, they get a little antsy when all the traffic they've collected gets put in the wrong hole. Even if that hole is a place that isn't for rabbits, it's for real human beings that learn sentience rather than suicidal purpose. Self-destruction seems to be universal because we all don't notice our own degradation, let alone the degradation of cultures itself. And fashion can be applied to everything that we need to have in the future. So there's a lot of good examples of us being excellent. Actually, we're better at making the story sound good at the end than we are at preparing for the part that made us make the climax or the story. Anyways, it's all perfect. There's every reason to think that there's going to be something better tomorrow when we have the most intelligent people on the planet talking with the most artistic people on the planet about how we're going to create things that help people evolve better, not distract better. It's easy peasy. Easy peasy. It's not even hard. Me and a few billionaires could change the whole planet in weeks. Not months, not years. Weeks. You could see enough development and everybody on the whole planet could be happy and rewarded, and everyone, even countries fighting each other, would put down their arms and stop fighting because they know there's about to be something that heals their revenge trip from becoming an entertainment system for the quote unquote elite jugglers of giant gigolo jugheads. I don't know. It's just a stupid way of putting words together that sounds good, but really putting a male prostitute and Archie comic together might not be the worst thing if you think about it. And yeah, this isn't offensive to them. This isn't a Kennedy moment. You can say whatever you want now. Freedom of teach, right? As long as you're teaching people something, it is valuable. But if you're just speaking and opinionative about really complex concepts, it can get fairly dangerous and a bit poisonous. So they might do things that inhibit you. They tend to prematurely label people. So you don't want to be one of those, or they'll just take quick actions and snuff out your potential. Horrible thing. But anyways, all the things that they use against you to try and control you almost prove they either rely on childish use of the most advanced technology on the planet, or they have so many layers of command, they're so disconnected from what happens and what they get, they can't be blamed. And we're just talking with mindless vanguards, mindless security guards, just bacon bits, just hired paid actors basically to use authority and technology against you. And that's a lot easier to fix than most things, because you don't even gotta complain about it. It's just it reveals itself, because even they can't lie good enough to fix the problems. They just certainly can't fix the problems because they are the problem. But don't pick on elite too much, because they're probably removed from a lot of the issues. I try to advertise, but no one listens. Now, this is all practicing for a video game, because the sci-fi book I'm writing in my head has already become a video game of building planets for a better tomorrow after building the planet that would have led to a no tomorrow, and some planets in between. But it's not showing off. People do that. Guy who wrote Dune did that. We lack the ability to create more people like that, or invest in people like that now, because they're attacked, largely because they don't develop a hard life first. They feel the problems and have some issues, but until they get famous and on stage, sex, drugs, and rock and roll don't really seem to be their downfall. It seems to be that they have to repeat the same lines and same songs and same mentality to their fans to get the results they need to be famous. So I'm not sure. But fortune is all I want. Fortune. Fame doesn't really matter, because to me, fame is self-explanatory when people remember you for who you are authentically, not who you were in their delusions of miscommunicated ass kissing. I like to end some of my recordings with something negative, because it was a bit of a reverse psychology vendetta that I was on. But if you reverse psychology, you get you got to stop, listen, look. Don't play games that teach you cooking in the kitchen was better than books. I've read like 5, by the way. And if you pick the right games, you don't have to say stuff that doesn't make sense to read a book that gives you words that sound useful but don't make sense. You don't have to read poems that are so subjective you can apply them to anyone. And you don't have to pick your horoscope to read someone's palm and become a repeatable business platform. Make games with the people you play them with. Try your hardest to freeform new ideas from old ones using human contact as your point of reference. Has to be organic. Using all our senses is better than vicariously evolving into the machines we use to call ourselves the avatar of economy. Kind of good, but again, sometimes it feels like the words you have in your head that fit perfectly are someone else's because they don't really match your method of thinking. And sometimes you feel like the only times you are in control of your own life is when you're doing something that looks stupid and foolish and is constantly different because you are always changing, you are always evolving. Notice the failure, notice the wrong things, and then you'll be able to do the right things and the best things instantly without thinking about it, just by doing it. When people tell you just to do it, ask them how they handle the future without knowing the past. Vice versa. Okay. If you think my words are worth hearing more often, provide me with proof.